This episode deals with Raila's eye. In public, you have seen Raila wiping out tears from one of his eyes. I have prepared it. Mostly, it came about as a reaction to your feedback. Very good feedbacks and a few bad feedbacks. It ended up with me coming up. We people who have photographic mind can recall with clarity something that happened long ago. But what people do not know is a photographic mind, sometimes we even forget a few things. It is when you provoke us or when you remind us, you can meet somebody whom I last met many decades ago. And after seeing him or her, the hidden information in my necktop computer comes out so clearly that I talk of the thing that somebody forgets. So I talk about it as if it had just happened the other day. I want to tell my viewers that my channel is about historical facts. Some viewers have tried to distract it by introducing things that, why were you sacked? I have no regret. I mean, somebody spiking your drink, somebody, in law we have something called agent provocateur. I think it's covered there. So for me mentioning something and then you come up with a thing, my conscience is clear. And even if I was as guilty as hell, the law allows a witness to give evidence so long as he is lucid. And I think I'm lucid. There is somebody, I'm very happy with so many of people who tell me that they are his supporters. And I want to comment on two. One told me that every saint has a past. So he said that Raila is just a human being and he has a past. The other person told me, I think he was in the system. Either he used to work with the special branch, with us in special branch, or he used to work with the prisons. Because some of us, our profession gives us a capability of reading between the lines. However, he has not disclosed himself, at least he has not disclosed that part that he used to work in the system in that and that. Let me just take him as he came. He asked me a simple question. You are right that, oh, by the way, before I say what he said, several people have said that by virtue of being a son, like now, if my son is arrested today, and Wamalwa Kijana's son is arrested today, it is quite normal for, and I've worked in the system, I know that, it is quite normal for such people to get preferential treatment. I also want to tell my viewer that Koigi Wamwere is on record having said that Raila somehow got a mattress in detention. So, let us just say, let us debate on, did it happen or did it not happen? And if what I've said are lies, or if what I've said are exaggerated, I'd be the very first person to do two things. I will pull down the said tape and I will apologize. Now back to this person who recently wrote to me and whom I suspect that he may have been in the system. I am not sure, but the way he talked in the 2 to 3 sentences, I read something. He asked me that if Raila got preferential treatment in committee, did he get preferential treatment in Nyayo House? That eye that he wipes every time is a proof that not only did he get treatment like any other person in Nyayo, but he got worse than others. Remember, this channel is there to speak the truth. Now, this thing about explaining nini alikuwa mtoto wa vice president nini, that one comes later. Mine is only to say, on 16th July 1961, it was a Sunday. Now, for others to say why did it, what happened on that Sunday, whatever, it is up to others to do that. I have a belief that Raila was detained in at least 3 places, if not 4. I am aware that he was in Kamiti. I am aware that he was in Manyani. I am aware that he was in Shimolatewa. And I suspect he was in Naivasha. But as of the time of recording this, I am not aware of any preferential treatment that Raila got in Manyani, Shimolatewa, and even probably Naivasha. I am only aware of Kamiti, and I've said so. Now, coming to this last message that I got, feedback, which reminded me of why Raila usually wipe out his tears in public. When he's expecting it, when he sees it coming, he takes out a handkerchief and wipes out. But when it comes abruptly without him expecting, he wipes out with his bare hand. Raila had been taken from ground floor, Nyayo House. He was taken to that lift upwards. And just like any other person, you see, these torturers would reach somewhere and make fun of you. The fun usually even went with the classes. If you are a nobody, nowhere, whatever, you would get, I mean, sijui kama mnanielewa, but imagine having a person like Ben Gedhi, a former commissioner of police, having a person like Andrew Saikwa, a former prisons commissioner. Although Saikwa died a long time before Nyayo House, but I'm only giving an example. Having people who is who. Can I give an example which today's youth can understand? Suppose Murungaru is taken to Nyayo House. Suppose Matiang'i is taken to Nyayo House. These torturers get a better feeling hitting such people, because imagine going home and remembering the way Matiang'i would talk. And now he's under your mercy, crying like a baby. Or even crying worse than a baby. So those people got a lot of happiness in punishing such people. And I want to come back to Raila. You know, you are told to walk on 4, to crawl like a baby. And you go around a room, just a circular way. You are told, toa mlio ya punda. Say, hee-ho, hee-ho. From there you are told, punda hii. Toa mlio ya ng'ombe. Say, mo. Ng'ombe gani inaliaga namna hiyo? Pigwa teke. And you see, that day, these guys don't, you know, intelligence officers, including Kinaupio. You know, Kinaupio was intelligence officers. Although they were a sadist, we can disown them. On that day, they make sure that they put on the police boot. You know, when in your civilian, you put on civilian boots, they put on. So a special branch officer of the rank of corporal. Now, he was a constable, but I told you that they were being promoted to the next rank without any promotion or... Okay, in intelligence, there was no promotion, but without... In the intelligence, they had passed that there were 5 subjects. If you pass 2, you are made a corporal. If you pass 3, you are made a sergeant. If you pass 4, you are made a senior sergeant. If you pass 5, you are liable to go for an inspector's interview. So supposing you are a constable, like me, I passed 4, but because of reasons, you know, my father was not liked in the police force, so watu walikuwa wananizuia promotion. But I was supposed to attend the inspector's course while I was a senior sergeant. So you get a person who passes 1 subject, 2 subjects is made a corporal. And if you have passed 4 or even 5, and you are, let's say, in 1 sitting or whatever, you are made a corporal. Then 6 months later, because in the civil service, you are not allowed to get 2 promotions in 1 year, within 6 months. So you get a corporal. Then after 6 months, you are made a sergeant. Then after 6 months, you are made a senior sergeant. But meanwhile, hapa katikati kukiwa na interview ya inspector, you attend the course. So this corporal, who had been promoted not because he had passed exams, but because he was in that team, kicked Raila in the eye. And that is the genesis of his sickness. Now, the eye, the human body, is a computer. It happens, God made the best computer that can ever be made. Let us talk about the eye. In your eye, somewhere here, there's a pipe. Your brain, you know, on a normal time, your brain sends messages to the eye that the eye needs certain amount of tear. Maybe it is windy and there is some sand that is coming to your eye. The brain tells the eye, the point that I've just pointed, kuna kamfereji hapo kadafungua machozi fulani. It comes out, and when you are wiping, your handkerchief is not supposed to get into your eye. If it gets into your eye regularly, the eye gets spoiled. But I'm not an optician. So when your eye gets that, it takes this sand and places, sand or dust or anything, places in one side, and then you wipe it either with with a hand, or you wipe out with a handkerchief, or you wash your face. So that is the work of that pipe there. And that pipe is informed by the brain. When you are sad and you're crying, there is also the crying of happiness. Ziko tofauti, and the volume and whatever is different. The optician will tell you that. Mimi ni kacheru. Now that brain tells that pipe, do this, do that. If you have been to some of these high-class hotels, you'll find that we have some taps. You know, when you're washing your hand, you are supposed to open the tap, wash your hand, and close. But these new taps are in such a way that you place there your hand, it fills it and water comes out. And when you remove, it stops. Now, in these circumstances, that is how that tap of tears do. It controls. It says, eka machozi kidogo, eka machozi mingi, eka machozi sasa, stop, endelea, ABCD. It is that tap that the corporal destroyed. Na inakuwa ni kama sasa ile mfereji. Have you seen, umeona ile mfereji ambayo imeharibika, hata ukiturn clockwise bado maji inamwagika, ukiturn anti-clockwise inamwagika. So the only way to stop this water is kule kanjo inalete maji. Kama maji inaletwa, then that maji does what? Stops. Then that is, but if kanjo inakuja bado itakuwa inakuja, you cannot control it from your house. And that, viewers, is how Raila I got the way it is.